Bringing America the half, the truth.
Fearless Muslim America's think tank, American Muslims Today.
Some people kind of get discouraged because of the way that the administration is run, that the Imam becomes almost like a gangster. You know,
yeah.
It's like, you know, it's a Imam al-Gaboni, you know, where he gets his henchmen around, and no matter what is going on in the community, even if he's living foul, you can't address the situation. You know, he can't be dealt with, this and that and the other. So the people just end up giving up. And, you know, the minbar can be used for this kind of junk. And I think that's also an important issue. I know you may have seen it before.
As a matter of fact, when I was hired to be the imam of this particular community, I met with the head of the administration first, and then I met with all of the board members. One of the questions that one of the brothers on the board, he asked me, he said, "Brother Shadid, I want to ask you a question. If there's a conflict between yourself and someone on the board, just an honest question, is that going to be like one of your khutbahs? Like, are you going to do a khutbah on now on the board? Or because what he's doing is he's basing that off of what is the norm with many brothers.
Yes.
You know, they utilize the minbar as their platform to bash out anyone that they have any personal, you know, issues with.
Right.
Personal issues. And the minbar is not to be used like that. The minbar is to be used in the manner in which the Prophet ﷺ used the minbar, and that is to remind the Muslims of their responsibility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to remind them of paradise, to remind them of the hellfire. One of the companions, he said to the Prophet ﷺ, "I have become a hypocrite." Alhamdulillah. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him, "Well, why do you say this about yourself?" He said, "Because when we're with you, you remind us of paradise, you remind us of the hellfire as if we see it with our own eyes. And then when we go home to our families, we forget a lot of what you say to us." Okay? My point behind that, point of reference here, is that he said, when we're with you, you remind us of the paradise, you remind us of the hellfire, as if we see it with our own eyes. And this is what the minbar is used for. Not used for your political agenda, not used for your personal agenda, not used as a means, as your mallet for bashing everybody over the head that doesn't agree with you.
Oh,
that is not, you know, when you take a brother or a sister who works on a day-to-day basis, 8 hours a day, they're surrounded by, you know, in whatever environments they work in, from the best of them to the worst of them. At the end of the day, there are environments, if they're not Islamic environments, they're environments at the end of the day that take them away from the remembrance of Allah. So when they come to the masjid on Jumu'ah, which is probably, for most brothers and sisters, is probably the only time that they actually get a chance to just sit down and hear a message about Islam,
right,
about their religion. I don't want to, you know, go to work, you know, spend 40 hours a week and then come on Friday and, you know, my first time to sit in the masjid during the whole week, and I got to hear about, you know, what's going on between you and another individual. I want to hear what my Lord has commanded me to do. I want to hear what Allah has promised me, so I have something to look forward to. I want to hear what Allah has threatened with, so I know what to stay away from. That's what the minbar is used. And like you said, that, you know, it has become a trend amongst many communities that the imam has become like the end-all be-all. He's like the imam of the Muslims, and everything, you know, goes through his hands. And, you know, if he doesn't agree with this or that, then it's a problem. And then he has his entourage. The board becomes like his entourage. Okay, I mean, literally in fear of him.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, and it's unfair to the community members because, as you mentioned, there's no justice, and there's no one to come in and say, and to quell the situation and say, hey, listen, you know, there's no accountability, there's no one to answer to, and it's just like, you know, many of us just have to be patient until Yawm al-Qiyamah and get our rights back from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Allahumma stan. Allahumma stan.
So say good night to the bad guy.